Good evening. Good evening and welcome to the Fall Football Cheerleader 2021 Football Awards Cheerleader Awards Night. We have a lot to cover, and I'm really sensitive to timelines, particularly when you come to awards nights. When I took the job, that was one of the first things that they told me about is don't make it too long. That being said, there was a lot to celebrate, and we don't want to slide things under the table. At the same point in time, we don't want to go too slow. So we're going to try to get through a lot here as we have a lot to celebrate, both for our cheerleaders and also our football team. I am going to get into the thank yous and all those things here a little bit later, but I'm going to go ahead and get started with reading names, and you're going to hear that a lot here in the next few minutes. But we talk about student athletes and the importance of doing well, not just on the field or in the sporting competition, but also in the classroom. Interesting statistic. We were close to 80% of our student athletes. Let me say that one more time. Close to 80% of all of our student athletes here tonight that were scholar athletes, which means 3.25 or better. That's simply fantastic. Let me read first to you the 4.0 students, and then we will read the scholar athletes. When you hear your name, please stand and hold the applause for afterwards. Lauren Barr, Allie Cathcart, Mason Kessler, Mickey Anderson, Jason Dreer, Caleb Lyons, Josiah Medley, Aiden Meyer, Bryce Phillips, Sam Schmeezy, Aiden Williams, Weston Mars, Brooklyn Black, Kylie Cremines, Carrera Whaley, Colton Byron, Devin Finley, Wyatt Mars, Roman Medley, Brady Gould, Zachary Sale, Brady Soliday, Ethan Wright, Kenneth Ward. 4.0. Give it a round of applause. The next are scholar athletes. Let me say just a couple things about this, because it seems that every time someone will say, well, I didn't get mine, or I didn't think. If we thought you were close, we gave you the scholar athlete. Part of the challenge that we run into is we have Edison, Upper Valley, and Piqua all trying together, but we're not on the same grading system or software system. So if you didn't hear your name read or you didn't get a certificate, either student or parent, please let us know. We will make sure we get that taken care of and get to the certificate. So please bear with us as we go through the scholar athletes. First, starting with our athletic trainers, Lauren Barr, Morgan Schlusher, Sierra McKinney, and Destiny Warner. Cheerleaders, Brooklyn Black, Allie Cathcart, Kylie Cremines, Jason Kessler, Carrera Whaley, Alyssa Brock, Kai Sowers, Kaylee Tillman, Kara Reed, Piper Croft, Paige Kinney, Allison Smith, Alana Hughley, and Elena Oaks. Freshman football, Weston Mars, Kenneth Ward, Jerry Anthony, Caden Ball, Collie Carnum, Landon Lawson, Elijah Bushnell, Benjamin Hulskamp, Owen Schaller, Cameron Sourmill, Caden Wallings, Chase Weber, and Caden Thomas. For our varsity, and that would include anyone's on the sideline. We say varsity and JV, anyone's on the sideline on Friday nights. Mickey Anderson, Colt Byron, Jason Dreer, Devin Finley, Caleb Lyons, Wyatt Mars, Josiah Medley, Roman Medley, Aiden Meyer, Brady Gould, Bryce Phillips, Zachary Sale, Sam Schmeezy, Brady Soliday, Aiden Williams, Ethan Wright, Tanner Kent, Bryson Roberts, Ryan Brown, Benjamin Levy, Landon Hare, Mason Osborne, Tate Kuhlman, Ethan Snyder, Garrett Brown, Tate Adams, Connor Brown, Gio Barron, Jacob Phelps, Alex Miller, Corey Miller, Anson Cox, Brady Michaelajewski, Grayshawn Roberts, Dave Gamble, Andrew Miller, Peyton Offenbach, Jacob Boswell, and Caden Skinner. We are going to let the coaches honor those in the MBL during their particular sessions, but we had a lot of cheerleaders and football players make all MBL, which is fantastic. It represented very well our school. I would like to take this moment to honor and recognize our athletes of the month that are sponsored by PolySource and WPTW. Each month, a male and a female are selected as athlete of the month. They are then given a certificate, which is nice for any parents. But really what the kids like, what they care about most, is dinner for 4 at 3 Joe's. They get to take themselves and 3 friends. Would you like to sit at the dinner table and listen to that conversation? Yeah, and at the end of the year, at the class night, the PolySource will give a check for $750 to one female and one check for one male for scholarship opportunity for them in the fall, and that will be voted by all varsity coaches. So for the month of August, the athlete of the month was, if they would come up, we will hand you your certificate and your, most important, your coupon to go have dinner at 3 Joe's. Josiah Medley. Athlete of the month for November in this room, Caleb Lyons. We are, before we get into breakouts, just as a reminder, the breakout sessions for cheerleaders will be in the new library. For some of you, you'll go to the old library, the door is locked. For those that have been here before, it's the old study hall, which is room 113. The door is propped, ready for you to go. You'll note in the football, we'll stay here with freshmen going first, followed by varsity. You'll notice in the library, and then also out front, you will see trophies. Those trophies are a couple reasons we did that. One, we want our cheerleaders and our football team to be able to look back and reflect and see what they did and accomplish, because it was a fantastic year. We also want you to have the opportunity to take pictures with those trophies. So afterwards, it's a photo op for you to take pictures with yourself, your family, your friends, your teammates, maybe your girlfriend, and an opportunity, and you can pick the trophy that you want. You can pick, if you want to give them all, you can stand behind the table. If you want to hold them both in your hand, This is the ultimate experience of trophies. The only thing we ask you to do is don't walk out the front door. Just put them back. Cheerleaders, again, the same thing is in in the library. You'll have the same opportunity to do that there. I want to get into thank yous, and there are a list of thank yous that you can just can't thank people enough. So I really try to go through, I've gone through this list over and over again, and if I miss someone, please do not be offended by any of that. I can assure you that everybody in this room in some way, shape, or form has made an impact on this season, both for our cheerleaders and for our football team. First, I want to thank the parents. Parents, if you didn't share your children with us, we wouldn't have the opportunity to talk about these celebrations. So thank you for doing that. There's a lot of commitment for parents to not just go in season, but there's a lot of out of season stuff. Dropping your kids, particularly if they don't have a driver's license. Dropping the kids off, picking them up, making sure they're at lifting, and making sure they're at summer workouts. Same with cheerleading, making sure that they're at the field house, making sure that they're getting those summer workouts in as well as practices. Thank you for sharing those kiddos with us. Cheerleaders and players, thank you. We talk a lot about, in these sessions, about making sure you work on your craft in the off season. Both groups do that. They're in the gym. They're in the weight room. They're taking care of making sure that it's just not an in-season sport, but an out-of-season sport. Thank you for that. Wards and I always take the opportunity to thank our seniors. Thank you, seniors, for your commitment. Thank you for what you give Piqua, not just Piqua cheerleading and Piqua football, but Piqua. We appreciate that, and it was you could just tell it was beyond a special year because of what you guys put into it. Coaches, cheerleaders, football coaches, countless hours, no stone left unturned. Thank you. I had a guy came in from Illinois, drove up Indian Trail and saw the sheets hanging there about 3 weeks ago, and was completely impressed with the spirit of the school, but the time that takes. There's a lot of hours at midnight in the garage, right, Coach Moore? Yeah, and girls coming over in the afternoon, making sure that those things look good, and that's a sign of spirit. We appreciate that. Coaches watching video countlessly, 7 days a week, hours, hours, and hours. Thank you. Katie Smith and our student trainers, we are grateful for the time and effort that you guys put into it. The best line, I think, we do a lot of senior features, but one of the best lines I got from the student trainers was, I said, what's the funniest thing that you heard in your time as a student trainer? And she said, and I won't name who the student trainer was because I don't want to throw them on the bus, and she said, well, one of the players said to me and complained that the water was dry. Pretty good. The water was dry. Anyways, well, it was, we thank those, and Katie, certainly as the year went on, and our team doctors, they got their work in and a lot of extra work. So thank you very much for your creativity. Mom's Club. We can't do it without you. Bottom line. We say that one more time. We can't do it without you. Can we please give a special round of applause before we do that? Sonia Philippi, okay, Julie Booker, and Jody Stray. One woman in particular that has taken on a lot of responsibility in the Football Moms Club. For 6 years, she's put up with people's good attitudes, and people maybe that said they couldn't come and work, and spent countless hours in the stores, stocking our concession stands aside and making sure things were going smoothly. So without further ado, I'd like to we give a big round of applause. Jody Strayer, could you come on up for a little... Tunnel crew. I think some of them are here. Whether we were feeling good, right, Mr. Sale, or we weren't feeling good. Whether they think the rule of thumb on the tunnel was, if we think it's going to rain, we're not going to put it up because of the drying process and everything. But if it was even close, these guys were putting up and willing to take the risk because they felt it was that important for our guys and our boys to run out of that tunnel. So that adds a little bit of no, take that back, rewind. It adds a lot of an element to what we do on Friday night. So thank you very much to our tunnel crew. Team meals. We had a lot of parents this year step up and host team meals throughout the year. Thank you for that. That's an interesting experience. Those particular parents who hosted the Italian spaghetti dinner at the Knights of Columbus, thank you for that. Our guys talked a lot about that. I had, for the good or the bad, I had the opportunity to eat with these guys one day at, we went to the MPL Championships after we for cheerleading, and we went to Christie's, which is a Italian restaurant in Vandalia. First of all, these guys can put it down. And second of all, the conversation, very interesting. Good stuff. Yeah. We'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. Want to thank memories. Capturing memories are important. This year, technology has allowed us to see a lot of things and do a lot of things, and we have probably the best TV station that is a school-based in the country. And I say that with the Indian Nation station. If you've seen any of our stuff, it is high quality. AJ Ganger could not be here with us tonight. We say a big thank you to him and his crew and all the students at the Indian Nation station, Damien Skeens. They were fantastic. Let's give him a round of applause. Another person that really did a lot this year on the sidelines. The past 2 years he's done it, actually 3, but he seemed to be more involved this year. The quality of photos that this young man has provided in videos is absolutely astonishing. For the first time, and Coach Keith and I talked about this the other day, and Coach couldn't remember any, at least anybody sneak in. This is the first time that any student had locker room access to pregame and postgame. And he handled himself with class. He did it he was a professional about it. And let me tell you that the stuff that he's done is big time. And some of it you're going to see tonight, here in a little bit. Some of it you've seen on social media. He's going to be out here selling his stuff later, but we gave him that opportunity. But he did us all for free. We'll say it one more time, he did it for free. And tonight we want to thank Mr. Paul Hines for his time and energy. He probably put close to anywhere between 10 to 15 hours a week in making sure that we have memories to live, not just for this year, 10, 20, 30 years down the line. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, Paul, come on, Paul Hines. have you ever seen a senior who hasn't graduated yet, but has his own sweatshirts and t-shirts and names branded all over the school district? Back to the thank yous. A lot of multiple people behind the scenes that made Friday night special. I'd like to thank, speaking of Dwayne Thompson and our administration for the support that they allow us to do what we do every day. We're pretty lucky. When I go to our league meetings and I go to state meetings and I hear and see some of the things that we have compared to what others, we're very, very, very fortunate, and we thank them for that. Piqua Indian Athletic Boosters, our booster club, supportive, behind the scenes. They want to do that behind the scenes. If I asked Jeff to come up here and speak, he'd club me over the head. But I want a big thank you to all of our PAB people that make it happen behind the scenes, and they really do. Jared Askins, big thank you to him. Tammy Iddings, who's taking care of our stadium, making it look fantastic, not just on Friday nights, but every day for practice. She's got to clean after up these guys, and that's a tough thing to do. You've seen the rooms. You know how that goes. Special thank you. We went back, and I asked Tom Westfall to go back in time. He retired. He used to do pep rallies about 10 years ago, and he got out of that business for his own reasons. And then a few years ago, he did a boys' dance, and it didn't go exactly the way he had hoped. Anyhow, I asked him and begged him to do it about a year ago. I didn't beg, but I asked pretty hard. And then I knew we had a group of guys that didn't mind getting in front of people and shaking their biscuit. So we figured out that we got a group of 20 guys, and if you weren't at the rally, you're missing something, but that's okay, because one of the things that we did, and this is part of thanking AJ, everybody's going to get a USB drive tonight, player, cheerleader, student, trainer, free, okay? Free, everybody likes free. On this USB drive are all of the games that were televised on the Indian Nation station, all of the hype videos for every single game that we put on social media, big time. Some done by AJ Ganger, some done by the great Paul Hines. And also the rally that we had right before Edgewood. I know Coach Travis Neese was a little worried about the backflips. But it all worked out okay, didn't it, Coach Travis? But we want to thank Mr. Westfall for that. And again, those USBs, you're going to get the pleasure of enjoying that. Not just, again, tonight, this year, but on down the road. And I'd also like to thank the athletic director's assistant, Jody Toops. She put, and the other guys are also going to get frames. All the varsity guys are going to get, everybody's on the sideline to get a frame with the Ohio High School Athletic Association regional finalists. She put all these awards together for coaches that organize countless hours. Again, I know it's part of her job, but her job ends at 3. She came back again tonight to make sure everything was in line. That's just who she is. She takes it serious. That's why we love her. Let's give her a round of applause. Last but not least, we want to thank our Piqua community for embracing, again, this team because, as the famous words say, we are Piqua. I'll get to that here in a little bit. Don't have to worry about that. Oh, you want to do it right now? All right, you know what? You got me fired up. Let's listen. We are! Now we got the crowd rolling. I wanted to put together just a summary and highlights of the year. And we talked about football here too, but I want to go back to cheerleading. We've had a lot to celebrate. Cheerleaders had a fantastic year. Everybody sees them on the sideline, and they are fantastic. You see the sheets that are up on the fence coming up Indian Trail. got to have people that lead you in spirit and get the crowd fired up, not just on game night, but also during the week. And they really did a good job of that. And again, I credit our girls and also our coaches, both Coach Stacy Barron and our head coach Morgan Moore. NBL championships. We talked about that, but our girls have won 3 trophies this year in competition. Now, we say competition, I'm talking about the stuff you see on TV with backflips in the air. Our girls are good. You take and see, well, how good are they? Well, we're good enough that we bring somebody in from New York City to help us with our choreography. They did a fantastic job. Now, I'm going to tell you they finished 3rd in the NBL, but what a lot of people don't know is we had someone's spare tire go out, or their wheel go out right before competition, and we had to change the routine. And you think, well, how hard is that? It's hard. It takes a lot of time. They did a good job with that, and our girls finished top 3 at a couple of invitationals, and again, like I said, 3rd place in the NBL. And they're still rolling. They're heading into regionals in state, hopefully, and the off-season work shows. So a big hand to the cheerleaders. Football team. These are just a couple of observations on highlights and just things that came to mind throughout the years that people said. One pretty important person in Piqua said to me when I got to Piqua 9 years ago, Piqua football is always good. Always good. But Piqua has about every 10 to 15 years that special group. Well, as we think about that, many pointed to this season many years ago because they thought this group of juniors and seniors, and I'm going to use the word sophomores, were going to be special. And I think it was that group. I think this year's group was it. However, what's great about this is we're not done. We have seniors graduating, but we have juniors and sophomores that have made a major impact, that great things are still going to be rolling for the Indians. The intangible part of it, yes, we were talented, we were skilled, but the off-the-field chemistry is what, to me, separated this team from everybody else. See, they won a lot of those games not just by their hard work in the weight room in the off-season and in practice. These guys hung out together all the time. That's chemistry. I was talking about that time I was at Christie's having lunch with these guys. And what was nice about it, after about 5 minutes, they forgot that I was even in the room because they were just themselves. And they were so funny at one time, I couldn't eat because my stomach hurt. Now, I can't repeat some of the things that were said, not because they're bad children, but yes, you will catch what I'm talking about. Those are the things that made them, they knew when to have fun, they knew when to work. And that's a hard skill to learn. They knew when to have fun, but they knew when it was time to work. Seniors were a big piece, no question. But the seniors also embraced the juniors and sophomores, and it wasn't about one group. I've been here at times where I've seen the seniors say, this is my year, it's going to be about the seniors, but not this group. It was not a group of seniors, it was a group of team, juniors and sophomores included. In fact, this year's team, both seniors and juniors, reminded me on multiple occasions, and I heard them tell others, that they credit the success of the team for a lot of things, but one of it was last year's seniors. Last year's seniors held them accountable, last year's seniors got it rolling. And we don't want to forget those people that got it started. Now, if we really want to talk about going to history of what got it started, there's some people that I'm looking at. Mr. Dyson, I think you wore the red. There was some success, blood, sweat, tears laid way before this that we've been able to get done. But We got a lot of fathers that had a chance to watch their sons play that played for the Indians this year. And back to the point of those seniors, those guys recognize the importance of their leadership. Couldn't ask for any better coaches. You couldn't ask for people to put more time into it. I can't tell you how many times I see those assistant coaches in the stadium on a Sunday or a Saturday afternoon late, breaking down film and putting together the scouting report for the following week. Season had many moments that were on and off the field that were amazing and memorable. Let me just throw a few, and I obviously can't name them all. But see if you can remember this. You remember the first Meet the Team downtown? And everybody got the microphone and the dreams were off the chart? That just seemed like 3 weeks ago, didn't it? Pretty fast. Or how about Troy Week? Think about the whole thing. We had the rally at the school. Torch the Trojans. Of course, it wouldn't be a Troy game if it didn't rain. The rally downtown. The celebration downtown. The Sydney game. Anytime you beat the Jackets, it's a good thing. Tip, homecoming parade, MVL championships, rallies, dancing. Now, some of the dancing you saw, some of the dancing you didn't see. Now, some of the dancing you didn't see, you get an opportunity to get that if you get with Mr. Hines here afterwards, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Celebrating with the band. Cheerleaders. Making sure the bright people got the spears after the game so they could do their cheers with the war chant. The band, celebrating again with the band, and then after game celebrations. And those celebrations became a little bit more as the season went along. High fives, hugs, it was all memories for a lifetime. On a personal note, I really try hard to not blend athletic director and parent. Well, the next few things I have to say, unfortunately, are just going to have to blend. So forgive me if I seem to be blending the two, but I'm putting myself out there before it happens. I've known these kids for a long time. And I wasn't the one that told that I figured it out. It was other people that told me this group was special. I get to see these guys, and I've seen these guys in the hallways for a long time. And I always knew there was something special about this group. But I absolutely knew this year was going to be a great year. I knew it was going to be special. I just didn't know how special. Tony Lyons at a rally this year at the Troy rally talked about leaving a legacy. He talked about not just for the game, but leave your legacy for a lifetime. Gentlemen, you did that. You did just that. And not by beating just Troy. And not by your championships, but by the way you carried yourself. And this will be that team that people remember for a long, long time. Guys, you gave the school, district, and community something to feel good about when we needed something to feel good about. Thank you for what you did. Thank you for what you did for Piqua. And thank all of you, every single one of you, parents, grandparents, friends, girlfriends, cheerleaders, coaches. You all made it special. You all made this year about We Are Piqua. We are! We are! All right. Now, we are going to move to a video which Mr. I have to go up there. When I have to go there and unlock the computer, because apparently it only gets timed out. So give me about 2 minutes, we're going to watch a highlight video that Mr. Hines put together. Little segue on the video. It's about 10 minutes. It's hard to put 10 minutes, a season of highlights, because I just named a few of them. There's a lot of things that happen in a span of 4 months on and off the field that you can calculate in 10 minutes. But Paul, again, I think that as good of a job as you can, and I think you'll get a feeling when it's over with of what this whole year was. Because remember those words, we are Piqua.
This game's not won on social media. This game's not won on telephone. This game is won with shoulder pads, helmets, mouth guards, and sweat. That's how the game is won.
A company always on the run.
Go, Piqua, go! Cheerleading!
A destiny.
Every football game I've ever played in a Piqua uniform has been with these guys right here. It's never been with anybody different. I've never moved. I'm playing with the same team forever. I never want to play with anybody else, but I'm gonna have to, because that's how life goes. You don't get to stay in high school forever. But you know, I love these guys. They're who I live for, and they're who I spend every summer day with, and pretty much every off-season day with too. I wouldn't want it to be any different. I love you guys. Let's go get it done!
I can't deny. Bad company, today I die. Until the day I die. Until the day I die.
There's only 2 words. Trash Troy!
Lay, sir.
Cadence in the building.
Alright, already the show goes on all night. Till the morning we dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they would see the sun? Just remember when you come up, the show goes on. Alright, already the show goes on all night. Till the morning we dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they would see the sun? Just remember when you come up, the show goes on.
Have you ever had the feeling that you was being had? Don't that that make you mad? They treat you like a slave, put chains all on your soul and put whips up on your back. They be lying through they teeth, hope you slip up off your path. I don't switch up, I just laugh. Put my kicks up on they desk, unaffected by they threats. Then get busy on they that's how that shit tell me. That's how my dad raised me. That glittering may not be gold, don't let nobody play me. If you are my homeboy, you never have to play me. Don't put your hands up, sometimes it's how you stand up. Oh, you people mad, cause you're blind at the fans. Trust me, you been
Yeah, wow. I'm too sexy for this girl, too sexy for your girl, too sexy for this world, too sexy for this ice, too sexy for that jack. Yeah, I'm too sexy for this chain, too sexy for your game, too sexy for this fame. Yeah, I'm too sexy for the trap, too sexy for that cap, too sexy for that jack. Yeah.
Homecoming game tomorrow. Big one at Alexander Stadium for a lot of reasons. Our community will be coming together, alumni coming back, but our football team has a very important game to play tomorrow.
In about 23 hours, we got serious business to get done. We got to focus on one thing, and that's beating the Red Devils right now.
I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah. Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before.
much after that's on. G5 in the US to Taiwan. Now who can say that? I wanna play back. Mama knew I was a needle in a haystack. A whole body boy, plus way back. I got a feeling it's a rap. ASAP.
Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling, yeah. Oh, sometimes.
Go, baby, go!
This is a special year for a lot of special moments. This one's no different. I'm gonna hit the pause button because I know we're always thinking about the next one. But let's enjoy this one for right now. Let me tell you what you did. Obviously, you've won back-to-back league championships. Yeah. You just completed an undefeated 10-0 season. Yeah. First time we've had back-to-back undefeated seasons in school history. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to give you guys MVL championship.
Already know. Hey, since we was little kids, bro, we were working at something like this. This is the main idea right here. We got to it.
Let's go!
The kids are Medley. The hole! He gets it in! 10-yard touchdown run! Josiah Medley and the Indians take the lead. Woo! Come on! Let's go! Let's go! One, two, three! They gave us the 23
Here comes a shameless plug. of respect for Paul, we are giving him the opportunity to sell all those photos that he took from every single game. Also videos that would include pre-game locker room speeches. Again, never heard before, probably never heard again by Coach. This is probably the last time let's kind of get in the locker room. Post-game locker room. By the way, speaking of dancing, I can assure you that there are people out there dancing that you didn't think could dance, but they're in the locker room dancing. Like, I'm going to throw one person underneath the bus, and then they'll get you like, oh. Like Caleb Lyons. Caleb Lyons can get down. Oh, but he does. Oh, he does. Yeah. Any of those shots on the field, sideline access, he had all access. If you just want photos, they're $40. If you just want the videos, that's $40. However, if you would like a combined, all-inclusive access to the season, $60. He will take your payments. He's got all right now, like a true business guy. He takes credit cards, he takes cash, he does the whole deal. In all seriousness, if you're thinking about, he's got a 2-week window where he's going to do it. Tonight would be a good time to do it. It's going to take him, he's still got to do quite a bit of editing. He'll have it done by the, I think, middle of January. I think that's what we talked about, right, Paul? Yep. So, shameless plug, please see him out there for that. Also, MBL shirts. We are selling them. We had some left over, $5 for those. Last thing, again, trophies are where you take pictures there afterwards. Feel free to take what you want. Cheerleaders, you're in room 113, library. Football, you're right here. Before we leave, remember those 3 important words. We are Piqua! Thank you.
Okay, if we can get ready for the second part of the program. We're going to start with our freshman football team. We have our 3 freshman coaches up. Hunter Hawk was not able to be with us tonight. And the freshman football team, who is our feeder system, who's done a great job over the years producing excellent players for us. With 3 of their coaches representing tonight. We've got Austin Hall, we've got Robbie Stolmer, and we've got Nick Level. And they're going to present the awards to the freshman football players. I believe the players also get a t-shirt and the scholar athletes. Also, before I forget, varsity players, anybody that wins a scholar has won a scholar athlete award, we will pass those out at the end of the banquet. That way we don't have to bring everybody up because there's so many of them. So we'll get that at the end. Not that it's not important, but we want to make sure we get everybody covered. All right, without any ado here, Austin Hall, freshman football coach.
First off, we got Wesley Mark. Next we got Kenny Ward. Jared Anthony. Gabe Ball. Malachi Garhan. Benjamin Buellskamp, Owen Shaw, Cameron Sourmouth, Caden Wong, Jace Weber, Caden Thomas, All right, I think that's all that we had to show tonight. I want to appreciate all you guys for coming out and supporting us this year. The record doesn't show the season that we had, but from start to finish, this is probably the most progressed team that I've ever coached. They're in every single day, working hard, and when I got this job, Chip told me, do the best I can to get them ready for varsity. And I think that this group of guys is definitely ready. They came in, they worked hard, they gave us all they had for the season. We had a couple of battles between Troy. It was only a 7-6 loss. I feel like we battled our hearts out and we almost came through with that one. But it was a hard-fought season, you know. Can't win them all, but freshman football isn't all about wins. It's about preparing yourself to the next level. And I feel like these guys are ready to go. So I appreciate everything that your son gave us this year. Parents, I appreciate you giving the practice on time. It was at the freshman level, we have to rely on the parents getting them there. So I appreciate you guys getting them there to every single practice. We have battled through a lot of injuries this season and a lot of illnesses, but I feel like it was a great season overall. So I appreciate everything that you guys done this year, and you guys have a great night.
Leads us into the next segue. Austin was talking about freshman football is not all about winning and losing. And I want to jump next to our JV football team, because in the same regard, the JV football team is not necessarily about winning and losing, although it gets a little bit more emphasized on Saturday. The JVs, though, are really the only people that are at the biggest disadvantage in the course of a year. And what I mean by that is, and you people that got three-year starters, people who have been here for a while, you've heard me make the same speech before, but I think it's important that everybody gets this message about JV football. JV football, not JV any other sport, but JV football, one of the major functions of JV football, after you get with your position coach and get some fundamental work, is to simulate what the other team does. And no other sport is that so important as us being able to have somebody try to simulate what the opponent is going to do on offense or defense or special teams that week. And our coaches do a great job of being in charge of each one of those groups. So if our punt team comes out on the field, then it's Coach Old's job to make sure that he's got the opponent punt block ready to go. So we don't look around and say, we need 3 guys over here. He's doing it. Okay? If we have something else in terms of a special team, then if we say 4th down, then it's Travis East's job to have people ready to go. And we can have the ones ready. That's easy to have your starters ready to go. But what you need to do is you need to have people that are going to give you the look. and it's got to go fast. And we have cards, we have this, we have this, we have this. But these JVs do this for the entire week. Then they get their 20 minutes of practice after practice, and then they go out on Saturdays. And these guys for 2 years in a row have only lost 3 games. So I would like to first of all give them a big round of applause for that. We've got 17 sophomores going to receive JV certificates. I'm going to bring them up and tell you their position. And I'm going to introduce the coaches before we do that. And each one of them has got a specific deal, a specific award that each player gets, along with what Chip showed you already. I believe Coach Krejci, what are you giving out tonight? Coach Krejci will give out the actual certificate, letter, whatever else they receive from the school. Coach Krejci coaches our punters, kickers, quarterbacks, and also inside linebackers. He's been with us for a very long time. He does an excellent job. So as I'll just go introduce you, we'll get a round of applause for each one of the assistants. Coach George, our offensive coordinator, as you know, he's also part of the punt block opponent team, and getting the meetings ready to go because we got to have them dressed differently. Coach, what are you doing tonight? What are you?
Regional finals awards and flash drives.
Okay, so you got flash drive and making it to regional finals. Everybody's got a framed little plaque that they got from the state of Ohio. Troy. Also coaches our outside linebackers, helps with the offensive line, specifically with the H-backs. Coach Josh Smith. Josh, what will you be providing tonight in terms of a prize?
I have the back-to-back poster and the program for the Division II fund.
Very good, very good. And one of the things in terms of the thank yous, and I think Chip hit the thank yous probably as well as you can do. Interestingly, about 5 minutes after school was out today, he asked me who I was going to thank, and I gave him my list, and he asked me specifically, like, well, what are you going to say about them? Oh, what are you going to say about them? And, fortunately, I got to hear my speech about 45 minutes ago. So most of my thank yous have already been taken, almost verbatim. And but one of the things that Josh has, I think is important, is we have a former player of ours by the name of Tom Heffelfinger, and along with Paul, who does a great job with our video, Tom does a great job with the graphics. And if you've ever seen the pregame stuff, and then each week he comes out with a poster that features a specific player, he's got a poster up here that has back-to-back, and he does it just a fantastic job of, he'll sit there and make sure every kid that plays for us, everybody is somehow superimposed in that picture. So at any given point, 20 years from now, you can say, oh, right there, that little dot right there, I was only a sophomore, but I got in a couple plays, and I'm ready to go, and he features the bigger guys as it goes. So that's a great little thing that everybody's going to get. Next in line, we have our receiver coach, the other JV coach. He runs the offense. Again, another former Piqua football player, Coach Darren Johnson. All right, very good. All right, next in line. Next in line, we have one of our offensive line coaches and also our other inside linebacker coach. He's part of our film crew. He's one of the guys that stays up late on Friday night when everybody else leaves. He's in there breaking down that film. Probably don't know it, but when we come in and watch film on Saturdays, every person is able to see that film from a tight angle, from a wide angle, and from a back shot. And that is because of Bargy and the other guy down there at the corner who stay up and make sure that it gets done. Now, also, they've got some pretty good computer programs that help them along the way. But I think they do a very nice job. Eric Bargy. Yeah. Scholar athlete. All right, very good. And last on the list, we have a running back coach and our secondary coach, another former player of ours, Travis Neese, and he is part of Bargy's, like I said, Bargy's Friday night crew, standing there making sure when everybody gets in at 6 in the morning, we have a chance to grade our films and have our films ready. When the players arrive on Saturdays, almost every coach has their players graded and sitting there ready to go, so when they watch the film, they got immediate feedback on how well they did. And then we also obviously take about another hour and a half and give everybody everybody, some positive and negative reinforcement along the way in the film room. Travis, what do you have for us?
Sweatshirts and posters.
Sweatshirts and posters. All right, very good, Travis. The original thing I was doing, and that is going to be to introduce the JV football team who won another 8-2 season this year. First we have Garrett Brown, defensive back receiver. Raylan Dorsey. Jacob Dolph Phelps, offensive line defense. Carson Hawk, outside linebacker, H-back. We're possible to see if this is going to be too much of a character. I didn't anticipate that this one thing. All right, next we have receiver, defensive back, James S. Offensive line, defensive line, Parker James. Defensive line, Derek Jones. Receiver, defensive back, Tate Coleman. Receiver, defensive back, Ben Lake. Receiver, defensive back, Wyatt Mars. Receiver, defensive back, Alex Miller. Defensive end, running back, Bryce Phillips. And defensive end, Aiden Williams. We're also joined by 9 juniors. Offensive line, defensive line, Bryce Tank Deal. Offensive line, defensive line, Preston Fugate. Defensive back, receiver, Brady Michael Jester. Defensive back, punt returner, receiver, Peyton Offenbach. Outside linebacker, H-back, Dylan Philpott. We're going to put it on hold for a second. A certificate has been dropped. Get the last two guys up here so we can get that part of the program here. Defensive end, H-back, Caden Skinner. Defensive back, receiver, Ethan Wright. next on the agenda, as I continue with my thank yous, I also want to make sure that we thank our medical staff, Katie, and the people that were involved with her staff. Do a great job on Sundays, making sure everybody's ready to go for the week. Katie and her crew, her and her crew were featured this year. When the TV cameras came in, we were the team of the week. She rolled in as the specific person of the week with our program. So I'm going to have her come up in the next section, and she will introduce her and her outstanding staff. Probably one of the better staff she's had in a long time here. Okay, not yet any better. But these guys work pretty hard. They film, they get water, they do everything. Katie Smith.
So first of all, I'd like to reiterate what Coach used to say and thanking our doctors. Dr. Burkhart, Dr. Luna, they've been here longer than I have. They've been here for 30 plus years, volunteering their time. They literally come to every football game because they enjoy it. They love doing what they do. They love being a part of this community, and they love helping out the team. They spend their time, they come on Sundays, we organize a time on Sundays, and they come out and they see the kids for absolutely free. And they can recommend if we need to do any further treatments. So I want to, again, if you have a chance to see Dr. Luna or Dr. Burkhart out in the community, you should give them a shout out and say thank you for what you do. So go ahead and give them a round of applause. Thank the moms for supporting us with the team. Appreciates the fruit. I'm sure that you may not hear them say thank you. They do eat the fruit. And the yogurt treats that they had throughout the season, they enjoyed those. They housed the Danimals. They got the Danimals. Those were gone in a day. They loved the yogurts. It was a good treat for them. As far as the student trainers that I have this year, they have been far and above one of the greatest crews I've had. They're funny, they're fun to be around, they're dependable. I didn't have to worry about it where they would be at because one of them would pop in somewhere at one point. They spent countless hours washing towels because we had a lot of rain on Friday nights. So they spent a lot of time washing towels, folding towels, filming practice, getting water, cleaning up things that needed to be cleaned. So much behind the scenes work that it's unbelievable. For their efforts, and since they spent their entire summer, the last 3 months together, they do all get a varsity award, so they are part of the varsity award club now. And they also get, we have some scholar athletes here. They got to keep their grades up just like everybody else. So we have a really good crew, and I appreciate all their efforts this year.
All right, next on the list, we're going to bring the freshman coaches back up, and they're going to get the remaining part of the freshman team. What we got the first time is the scholar athletes, so we'll come back up and we'll get the rest of the freshman football players introduced, and then we'll move on to the next section, which will be our first year varsity letters. So, 3 freshman coaches, get your stuff out, and then get you rolling from there. All right, second part of the freshman.
Justin Paul. Austin Williams. Joey Boston. Drake Owen. Gabriel Payton. Aiden Waddle. Owen Shaw. Malachi Martin. Carson Smith. Gabe Thomas. Weston Mars. Cameron Jenkins. All right, last but not least, Jace Weber.
All right, next up, we have our first year varsity letter winners. We have 5 sophomores this year that contributed to the varsity program in one way or the other in terms of being a starter, being on the special teams. First guy we have, when Ozzie went down after the first game or during the first game, he was in the right place at the right time. He knew what he was doing, and it's the same thing we preach quite a bit, and that is, if you're not playing, get ready to be playing. Don't sit and pout because somebody else is playing ahead of you. Be ready to play when your time comes. And boy, did he. He won 14 straight games at inside linebacker for us, Devin Finley. Next up for his first varsity letter, where's Miller? All right, now this guy had a unique job. His job was every week, when I say card time, that's good news for the defense, and it's bad news for the 11 people usually that are using the cards, especially the running back on the cards, because he is everybody's running back, and he has a limited amount of blocking, during the course of the period. Sometimes he has Coach Ohl or Coach Johns playing quarterback with him in the offense, and this kid took a licking almost the entire season. We didn't do it on purpose, and he took quite a bit of hits. But more importantly, because of his toughness, as soon as a special team spot came open, every time we beat a meeting, hey, we need a backup here. Who are we going to put in here? Boom. Answer, Andrew Miller. Every single time. Kid ends up with cover it into, hey, we need somebody to play defensive back for us, we need somebody to play quarterback, we need somebody to play running back, we need somebody on the punt team. This guy was everywhere, did a fantastic job for us as a backup in 2 or 3 positions, and then got a start toward the end of the year. Did a fantastic job. We're proud of what he does. Looking forward to next year, Kai Warner. We have another one of those special teams guys that jumped in. He was in 1 week, and then the guy came back, and it's hard when all of a sudden you're on the kickoff team this week, and then the guy that was hurt comes back, and then you're not on the kickoff team anymore. And your uncle wants to know why you're not his any of them. He wants to know why you're not on the team anymore, and he'll explain, well, it wasn't my job to begin with. Now I'm at this. Moral of the story: he's still in there rolling on. Anytime a receiver even had a hangnail. And just stopped for a second. Boom, he was in the huddle. Next thing you know, got reps like crazy. Did a fantastic job, both as a backup receiver and a receiver when we get into some of the big packages. Mickey Anderson. Landon Martin, is he with us today? Okay. All right, and Landon Martin also received his first year varsity. We have 4 juniors that are going to receive their first varsity letter for us. First, wide receiver played our outside receiver. Some reason was able to get open out of the clear blue sky. People would not cover him. People would forget about him. He would do it at practice to us. Sydney week, he got behind us at practice one time. The card group, he got behind us. Next thing you know, on Friday night, he got behind Sydney also. Did a great job at our #1 receiver. Heck of a blocker for us. Great athlete, Ryan Brown. Second guy, plug in the same scenario. On the other side of #1, he's still rolling in there. Got to make sure he knows what he's doing with his blocking. His effort is outstanding. He gets open, not once, but twice during a game. And again, it's the nature of the beast is you get a lot of play action going. In these corners, they start looking one way. The next thing you know, if you're looking one way and it's the wrong way, then somebody's scoring a touchdown. In this case, Elijah Frazier was able to do it. And these 2 guys were featured together on the Indian Nation Coaches Show. And I don't know that Solid back yet? Not here? Okay. Is he? Yeah. Well, I know, but he's might be able to get back. All right. Anyway, one of our offensive linemen, great junior year, was smart enough to play tackle, guard, center, and then guard and tackle on the other side. Now, for those of you who don't think that's hard, you've never played offensive line, you have no idea about the game, because it is very hard. Think about this. It's hard enough that I have a guy that just coaches centers, a guy that just coaches guards, and a guy that just coaches tackles. So if each position has its own coach, then obviously it would be hard to play that for a player. Soliday was able to do that throughout the course of the year, so I'd like to give them a round of applause for this. This last junior that I'm going to bring up for his first varsity letter, single-handedly drove my ratings up on my coach's show during his appearance. We told him that. He's nodding his head. He still believes that. So we appreciate it. And he just came out and was able to help us a little bit on defense. But he found his niche on offense and offensive guard. Great leading our pulls and our kickouts. And sometimes in certain upfield, depending on what the play is, Jacob Foster. Finally, we have two seniors receiving their first year award. The first we have is, again, found a niche. Big guy, strong, he can hang in there and block. And more importantly, not one time during the course of the season was he daydreaming, and we scored. And when we said extra point team go out, he forgot to go out. And that happens quite a bit. Everywhere you go, especially on special teams, he was there every time. When he started rolling on the field, baby, as soon as we scored, everybody knew 5-2 was coming on the field. And then, did you see the video? I mean, what better thing for a senior to after we beat Troy? And remember that you gotta remember one thing about the Troy game. We start the season off with 2 scrimmages, and Lima Senior comes in, and we just we manhandle Lima Senior. Now I'm from Lima. All right, so of course I have 4 of my cousins call me up and go, Lima Senior's terrible this year. You guys didn't do anything big. I was feeling good, and I said, again. All right, so now I don't know anything about it. So we go to Northmont, play Northmont. We haven't beat Northmont in 4 years. We beat Northmont. Northmont's coach comes after the game and goes, I don't think we're going to win a game this year. I said, okay. So we still don't know how good we are. So we played Belmont, and we beat Belmont by a significant amount. And I said, well, I don't know if that's going to be a test or not. Finally, we're going to get a test at West Carrollton. West Carrollton, we've been talking about West Carrollton for 3 years, correct? Okay, and I won't bring up those stinging memories again, but all the seniors and me, we know we'll never forget that night. All right, so anyway, we're set to go for that, and then I get Chip calls me on Thursday, like, why are you calling me on Thursday? And you tell me we're not playing. So our choice is to play Moeller or Westerville South in 48 hours, and neither one ever comes through. Moral story is we don't have a game, we get that out. So finally, we play Troy. I'm getting to the part of the story. We're playing Troy, senior year. We don't know how good we are. And we go in there, we just manhandle Troy. Everything's set. And then as the trophy's being presented, out of the clear blue sky, here comes Big Dice, grabs the trophy, gets right, finds the camera perfectly, gets on it. He gets the feature up here on the film. He's been a great player for us. One time we were behind, or we were ahead in the game significantly, and I looked over and I said, hey, I'll get you in. Just hold on for a second. I should have got you in sooner. He looks at me and goes, no problem. No problem. There's a lot of people, I've been coaching for a while, and there's a lot of people that would roll their eyes, would be popping, would be this, would be this, would be this. Those are tough times when you're ahead 44 to nothing. In a game as to who wants to actually play, and who's doing all these things. And it was perfect for him because he knew that we were trying to get everything else done. We got him in the game, got some significant minutes, and I'm going to finally bring you up here, Alex Dyson. Okay, now we're going to our second-year letter winners. Our second-year letter winners first one up is our H-back, but also gives us great minutes as an outside linebacker. Gives us a whole other dimension. When Tanner was hurt this year, was able to come in and play that position beautifully. And we're looking for big things for him next year. Big guy's going to put on some weight. He's going to be a heck of a player next year. Colton Booker. Next, receiving his 2-year letter, but he's not with us tonight, will be our long snapper, Brendan Johnson. Our next on the list for his 2nd-year letter, all-conference, first-team, return man. Broke a couple last year, close. Broke some this year, big play man. Wait for somebody to graduate so if you're playing on the other side of the ball a little bit, stop being a card guy on that side. But has done a beautiful job for us. And anytime we ask him to get out there at receiver, runs our jet with perfection. Jerry Sean Roberts. All right, next up we have offensive tackle, defensive end, defensive tackle, depending on what kind of offense we're running. More importantly, the voice of the Indians. Man, when I stop talking and introducing people, you can hear those 2 of them, they're saying, oh yeah. When they stop saying that, that's time for me to end the meeting. Just keep in mind, these guys are coming from a COVID era, and every 20 minutes, we got to stop the meeting and take a break. So that's about as far as I'm so impressed that you guys are still hanging. It amazes me. I kind of got up and started moving around a little bit. But he's done a fantastic job for us. When he came in the weight room the first time, he was a basketball-only guy. We asked him to squat, and he barely could do that, let alone when we said, well, we're going to put a weight on your shoulder. All right? Now, if you look at him in the weight room, it looks like you could make a film, a documentary on his technique, everything he does in the weight room. Fantastic leader for us, Anson Cox. Two defensive guys, 2 linebackers, and I'm kind of introducing them, I'll separate them, but I introduce them together because these are 2 more of my assistant coaches on the staff. And when I say that, what I mean is, when we're in defensive scout meetings, you have sometimes people looking around and certain people play a position where they see the same thing everywhere. He won't leave the stage. It's a crazy time. And these 2 guys, they play the most complicated positions where things are different everywhere. And they're the 2 guys that are constantly looking, asking questions, making sure that everything's done correctly. And then when the practice or the game starts, you can hear them calling out plays. Now, we can call out plays, but we still got to stop. We go through. But these guys are doing just an amazing job of the mental process of it. And they're almost like having assistant coaches on the sideline, or better yet, in the course of the game. The first one we have the leading tackler in the NBL this year. But we haven't had a leading tackler in the NBL, I don't think, since I've been a coach. And we've had, because we don't play that many snaps. And he is a leading tackler in the NBL. He's also a leader on our defense in that middle part of the defense, getting the linebackers where they need to be. Sammy Speeds. Yeah. We have our other outside linebacker who again has to set that stuff up. And I know he's got 2 corners behind him. And I know sometimes the corners kind of yell out in front of him and say, yeah, we knew that. But he's the most vocal. You need people that can speak, people that are willing to be vocal, not just assume people can do stuff. And he's probably the biggest voice we have out there. And the best thing is, he's normally always right. So sometimes we've had some big voices out there, and they're never right. I had to tell them to stop being a big voice. But these guys are big voices, and they're right. And our outside linebacker this year, an all-conference player again, Bryson Roberts. Okay, then we got 2 seniors that are getting their second year Varsity Award. First guy we have is one of our defensive linemen who last year was the Sub Rock of the Year Award, came in and, got us in a couple games, in a pinch and stuff like that. It's good to win the Sub Rock of the Year Award, but you only want to win that once. You don't want to win that again. And he was able to win that last year, and then this past year came in, started defensive end, just tough to block. He's all arms and legs, and he moves up the field, does a great job for us, played special teams for us too, and we're so happy that he was able to achieve this after not a whole lot of playing time as a sophomore, a little bit as a junior, and all of a sudden 3 years in that weight room, wait your turn, get in there and get it going, and now look at your senior year, Tate Adams. And then lastly, one of my biggest recruits, I very rarely recruit. Most of the times we leave that at other schools, but in this case, he was a great player at all of our camps. We always enjoyed working with him. Jovial guy, but could play some football in the meantime. And we lost him for a year. And almost on a weekly basis, I would see him in the hallways and ask him whether or not he's coming back, ask him if he, this or this or this, and he'd give me a little bit of a nod occasionally. Sometimes he'd, go, niece is coming again, or walk the other way. All of a sudden, one day I walk up to him and I say, "Hey, you thought about coming back yet?" He said, "Yeah, I'm coming back." And the sun started shining, and everything started looking good, and he worked his way back in here, started, and this year, first team, all-league, MVL center, exactly All right, then we're moving into our third year letter winners, and bear with me because, we still want to make sure we get everything covered here, because I think it's important that we get a chance to get everybody talked about and celebrate the season a little bit. We have two juniors that are getting their third letter. And obviously they were significant, when they were freshmen for us. And it was part, at the beginning, it was just extra points. All they had to do was do extra points and field goals and then go away. Extra points and field goals. Then the next thing you know, they're playing a role. Well, you're going to be our starting quarterback. Next thing you know, you're going to be our punter. And we'll start off with, first of all, start off as our kicker. Eventually moved up. Then you start kicking them out of the end zone. And the next thing you know, hey, you're going to be our punter. And who can forget, Edwin? Everybody's sitting back, and all of a sudden, this thing just launches like a rocket, clear down the field. And within 2 plays, they fumbled. And all of a sudden, the Indians, who maybe some people thought were going home early in the playoffs, are back. And then there's no overtime. And then there's a fumble. We score, and we're rolling. Probably one of the most significant punts we've seen in a long time. And he's a weapon. He's a weapon for our defense. I mean, if we have to punt, they're starting down there, and every time that they're going to get the ball, they're starting at the 20-yard line and working along 80 yards. Our kicker punter, Jackson Thomas. This guy graduated from being the holder, Jackson Trombley's holder, to then coming in on a couple of long balls, and he actually was with us at the West Carrollton 3, weren't you? Yeah, you were there too, weren't you? Yeah. So you have those memories too. Went from that to moving into a starting quarterback status to this year leading the Miami Valley Conference in completion percentage at an unheard of 69.7%. High school kids don't do that. Number 2, the number 1 rated quarterback. Number 3, the number 2 quarterback in throwing yards. And most importantly, complete excellence on his holding. And he's another one of our all-conference players that we had this year. Our quarterback, who will be a 4-year starter for us as we go into next year, will be Brady Hill. Yeah. Very good. All right, now we're going into our third-year letter winners who are seniors. And 3 years ago, it'll be the last time you have to hear this. 3 years ago, I had some real heartbreak. We went up to Lima and had a tough game. We had a tough game in West Carrollton. Had a tough game. Thought things were rolling, and we had a tough game in Troy. We had to think about all winter. And these guys came back strong. They came back strong enough that they're now looking at a group of seniors that went 2 years in a row without losing a regular season game and was able to make the playoffs 2 years in a row. And these people were really the cornerstone of what that thing was all about. The first guy I have is a starting outside linebacker for us, played running back. His outside linebacker capabilities are amazing. You know, we coach him up, but he still has an instinct. He just knows what to do. And forever, any class reunion he goes to, anytime somebody says his name, everybody's going to remember that play Troy. Everybody's going to remember just that last shot when he intercepted that ball, went coast to coast to seal the game for us. Senior Tanner Kemp, all week. We have a guy that's just worked his butt off for us for 3 years on the practice field, in the weight room, did everything he was asked to do, got playing time last year. This year came in, claimed one of the starting wide receiver shots himself. But here's how we measure wide receivers, and I know a lot of colleges measure wide receivers the same way. Do you put your wide receivers, can you put your wide receivers on special teams? And the answer is, with Gio Brown, yes, we could put him on our special teams. He came down on our kickoffs. He was on our punt as protection and as the outside person on our punt team. Did a fantastic job. Was able to catch some touchdowns. Was able to get out there. And you know, you get so many receivers, and I know everybody wants the ball. Every receiver and their parents want the ball. Every running back thinks you should run more. Everybody thinks this. But the thing that was nice, and Chip alluded to this a little bit, the thing that was nice is that I never felt any friction at all about what should be being done. Unless, I probably live in a vacuum. But I never really feel that someone was unhappy or someone was this. And usually the wide receivers are the case, and I think, with all like Frey and all those guys, they just roll in, they catch a ball, roll out, go block. And Gio's done a great job for us this year. And, we got big things for him in track also, Gio Brown. I wanted to talk about quite a bit during the course of the banquet, and rightfully so. I think he was a big difference maker for us this year. I think when you got somebody, and when we've had great running backs, you kind of just know they're going to get out at some point. And when Brandon was here, when Sky Foster was here, when Mitchell played, you just knew at some point they were gone, and it was just a pleasure to watch those guys. And he also played safety for us. He also played safety for us on defense. Could have been, was a fantastic player, but could have even excelled more if he didn't have to do both things at the same time, as well as being our back on the butt team. But we're proud of his accomplishments this year. He was our lead player of the year on offense. Josiah Meadows. Yeah. We've been fortunate at the back end of this defense, so we've had the two corners and the safety. Believe it or not, these guys went the entire year. They played 14 games and they gave up 2 touchdown passes. Now think about what I just said. They played 14 games and gave up 2 touchdown passes. One of them was that cheesy pass. One was a shorter pass against Stebbins. I was looking to see if that's a major for it. And the second was a little bit longer pass. But the moral of the story is, I thought, along with Medley, I think the cornerstone of that defense was our two corners. Both played 3 years. Both were all league players. First one, Aiden Meyer, was also a great special teams player for us, was one of our cover guys. And he was the solid rock. He was the guy that would come up, make the tackle for a 0 gain, and just be steady, never miss a practice. He was that guy that loved it when we got into the boundary because he could get some Vietnam-style defense. And so let's bring him up. He was an only player for us. On the other side of the ball, some flashy interceptions for us. Deep in the end zone against Troy, get a great interception. Battled a lot of these 6'2", 6'3" receivers. In other words, did a great job for us, and more importantly, one of the positions I value the most on this team is if we can find a good punt return. And I know everybody says, what's a big deal about that? If we can find a good punt return, all right, those people are gold. Because they catch the ball, it's the hardest ball to catch, they're not afraid, and they run after they catch it. And this guy does all three. He catches it, he runs with it, plays great defense for us. He was an all-league first-team player this year, Braden Strayer. Receivers. Played a little bit as a sophomore, was in all of our camps and always played line, and we finally convinced him that he was a skilled player. He should be wanting to catch the ball instead of wanting. Every lineman wants to be a receiver or a running back. It's the only guy I know that says, no coach, I'm a lineman. That's what I want to be. And we convinced him finally, that he has the skills and he needs to be a receiver in our offense. And again, he's a guy who didn't say, hey coach, maybe we can run that jet a few more times. Hey, maybe can I get the ball a few more times? Every time we won a game, he was happy. He was happy. It didn't matter if he caught 10 balls or if he caught 1 ball. He was happy because the team won and he placed the team more than anything else. Had a great senior year this year. Was MVL honorable mention, Corey Miller. After receiving his 3rd year varsity letter, broke in as a special teams player, just like a lot of these sophomores. Eventually worked his way up to long snapper, eventually worked his way up to outside linebacker, challenging for a starting role. And this year, due to a couple circumstances, moved him to inside linebacker. Whole different world for him. And he adapted to it perfectly. Did a great job for us, and everything was rolling smoothly, but unfortunately he was cut short with a knee injury. But did not, I don't know the guy had a bad day. I mean, if that would happen to me, I get drunk just for little things. And he, something like that happens to him, and he was upbeat, lifted everybody up in the meantime. I enjoy seeing him every day. I enjoy just he walks in to see what he's going to say, or, this or this or this or whatever. And I would have loved to see him have a senior year. I know he would have had a great senior year, but still he's part of this team, and I think to him, that's just as important, that he was able to hang out with these guys and be part of this whole organization. Ozzy, come on up here. All right, next up we have our offensive lineman and defensive lineman. He played last year strictly as an offensive lineman, and this year I put him in a couple times, and he was explosive. Get off the ball and cause some stuff to happen. And we put him on other people's centers, and bad snaps would occur, and just unusual things would happen. He would get this stuff done. So being the great coach I am, I decided to put him in more often on defense, and more great things started happening on defense. And then we got him playing, pretty much both ways, and got a pretty good rotation, sharing everybody in there, these big guys in the middle. And we couldn't be more happier with the season he had this year. Did a fantastic job, both sides of the ball. He was first team all-league. We had 3 offensive linemen make first team all-league this year. Wyatt Downs. Okay, next on the list. Guy, and I can probably say this about everybody, but I distinctly remember a lot of these guys coming to our camps and being out there and just running around. Some guys told me they were at our camp 5 straight years, and I don't remember. And other people, I go, yeah, I remember you. And Landon, I don't remember in a bad way, but I just remember he was at all of our camps. Just a steady, getting better over the course of the years. Went in from maybe playing some JVs, and then had a great game against Troy in the JV game, and then kind of thinking, okay, we can move it up a little bit, we can play a little bit. Last year to this year, comes in, league was 2nd in the league in sacks last year, was 4th this year, and he's been an all-league performer for us. All Southwest Ohio, I'm sure when the All-State team comes out, he's going to get some mention with the All-State team, and that is our defensive end, Landon Harris. been another phenomenal player for us. Been to camps, been to this, been to this. There's actually, I think one of my Camp No Shirt pictures has a picture of me and him, over on one side, we're coaching him up and seeing what's going on. But I think more importantly, and Anson said it best, Anson said, I said, I don't know where I'm going to play next year, offense or defense. And he said, I think we got to make sure I'm doing something on offense because, we got to have that leadership. And it was so obvious that Caleb, and how I talked about, Bryson and Sam were vocal, when it comes to defensive stuff. Brady was vocal when it comes to the outside stuff on the offense. But those inside guys, we know, who's going to chuck here, who's going to pull here, who's going to do this. He was phenomenal what he could do. Not only on his side of the ball, but on the other side of the ball. And then he was a monster on defense. And we were able to get that great rotation going with those three guys in there. And hopefully all you linemen can see that and see that we need to play a bunch of people. And you get opportunities. You get opportunities to go through. Great leader of the program, Caleb Lance. I didn't mention some of you guys were first team All-League. I think it's obvious, that he was all Southwest Ohio. He's probably going to be all state, so I would assume he was first team All-League also. Okay, that was it. Did we not catch anybody? Did he? Very good. Okay, so the next thing I want to do here is I want to introduce our All-League recipients this year. We were fortunate that we had 8 people make first team All-League. We had 5 people make second team. We had 2 people make honorable mention. The All-League team is selected by the opposing coaches. The All-State, All-Southwest Ohio team is selected by newspaper reporters. So you got to make sure you understand, where everything comes from. When you make all Southwest Ohio or All-State, one day in the year, any reporter that has the credentials goes down to Cincinnati. I think this year was in West Carrollton, and then they go for it. So it has a lot to do with who's got the poll here, the Cincinnati people over here, these people over here. But I think this is a big one because the coaches, and I know the coaches, every coach wants to vote for their own players, but I think it's a pretty good reflection of what happens to our players at the end of the year and a big reward. So first of all, I want to look at our offense. Now offensively this year, and I just threw some statistics. Never before have I done this, but I just wanted to give you guys an idea what's happening. Our offense this year in the MVL scored the highest amount of points. We scored 372 points. The next team closest to us was 330. We finished number 1 in rushing. We finished number 2 in passing. Our quarterback was number 2 in yards. He was number 1 in completion percentage. He was number 1 in quarterback ratings. Medley was the number 1 rusher. And the most unbelievable statistic for me is that we only had 7 turnovers in 14 games. I repeat, 7 turnovers in 14 games. That is completely amazing. And that's the reason why that we've got 2, 4, 5 guys make first team All-League on our offense. And let's bring them up. We got Wyatt Dobbins, Caleb Lyons, and Zach McGuire, our 3 offensive linemen. We've got the MVL number 1 ranked quarterback, Brady Old. We've got receiver Corey Miller. And he may return guy, but I see him, just like I see Trombo as a defensive weapon, I see this guy as an offensive weapon. So he's going to come up with the offensive weapon. Should have 7 guys up there? We got 7 guys up there, Barton? And then we had another guy make first team All-League. He was also the player of the year offensively. Let's bring him up for a quick round of applause to Zion. Congratulations. Thank you. Okay, now the defensive side of the ball. Remember, we scored 372 points this year. Defensively, we gave up 63. So that's right about a touchdown a game or a little bit less. So these guys finished, on defense, they finished first in every category. So whatever category it is, you name it, finished first. We had individual efforts. Sam Speasy was first in tackles, Landon Hare was fourth in sacks, and Braden Strayer first in interceptions. Check this out real fast, and now you know what it's like to be at our meetings with these stats. Check this out real fast. We had, how many turnovers on offense? 7, very good. Okay. Defensively, we forced 23 turnovers. So these guys were able to force 23 turnovers. Specifically, our secondary, 15 interceptions, led the league by about a minute. Landon Hare, first team Sam Speasing, first team Braden Strayer. Then we've got second team Hanson Cox, second team Tanner Kemp, second team Abe Meyer, second team who's with us because he's our defensive weapon, Jackson Trump. And then finally, we had two of our players from defense receive honorable mention, Bryson Roberts and Payne Adams. Good there? All right, round of applause for the defense. Okay, now the final thing we want to do is we want to get to our team awards. And the team awards, now they're voted on by the classmates, by the team. So the team votes, and the great thing about the team is I have them write their name on the vote, because if there's a tie, I want to look and see, what position, people vote. I want to see what grade, I want to see whatever the case may be, so we can somehow break the tie. And I think everybody this year voted honestly. Normally, we come in and I'll say vote twice, vote once for yourself, and then vote once for the reserves. And this year, I cut to the chase. I said, here's what it is. You vote for the most valuable player of the team, the outstanding player of the team, and you vote for the outstanding underclassman. And the outstanding underclassman obviously should be somebody that starts for us. And so those votes came in this past year, and we first of all have the underclassman award is named after a guy by the name of Red Gabriel, who used to play here. And then they established a scholarship, an award in his name. So when I became the head coach at Piqua, they said you give out 2 awards. You give out as many as you want. You give out the most valuable, left guard. You give out the most valuable, most spirited receiver. You give out the practice player of the year. You give out this. We can give everybody an award. And I said I'm just going to stick to the tradition of it. We give out 2 awards every year. And so the Red Gabriel Award for the outstanding underclassmen. And I'm not kidding you, how about this? It was a tie. And I went back and looked at their votes, and he voted for him, and he voted for him. How about that? That's not a made-up story. I know sometimes I make them up before games. In this case, another interesting concept is they both play the same position. Our 2 inside linebackers, sophomore Devin Finley, junior Sam Smeezy. Yeah. As far
some crazy give out. Great. It took two of them to coach you guys. All right, next we have our booster. There's a third award that we also give out. That's a Booster Spirit Award. And Booster Spirit Award, that's the award that the coaches give out. And Booster Spirit Award, it's different every year. Some years it's a guy that literally has the most amount of spirit. And he runs around and yells and screams. And some years it's somebody that just exemplifies the amount of spirit they have by their actions, their deeds, and things along those lines. All right, it's all different criteria as we go through the year based on our team changes every year. This year, I really felt that our Booster Spirit Award was someone who, and I know I preach a lot, we never get down, we never get low, we always overcome things, we bounce back, we do everything we need to do. But he's a guy that does some of the hardest things around. Some of the hardest things around are talking in public. Some of the hardest things around are letting yourself out there and sometimes looking a little foolish, but being positive about it at the same time. There's a difference between having fun and maybe being foolish, and he knew exactly the difference between those two. And I thought he gave great spirit, not only in every game, that's easy, but I think in practice every day. I think everything we did, he was there the entire time, and it was a pleasure to have been around him for the last 3 years. Landon here. Yeah. That's the new thing. You already said it's speech. That's right. There we go. All right. And lastly, this might have been the easiest one because I don't think anybody voted for anybody but him. All right, and there was not even that one person that said, I better vote for myself just in case. Everybody to a T on their piece of paper had the Bagman as our most valuable player. But, with him, he's, like I said, he's been able to do it both on offense and defense. And I just think part of this whole deal to finish up is the fact that when I saw the results of some of these votes, when we're in the middle of the playoffs and the all-conference selections came out, different teams came out, different individual awards come out, as a coach, the biggest thing you worry about is, okay, somebody's going to say, hey, why didn't I get that? Why didn't I get that? Why didn't I get that? And I think it shows the amount of maturity this team had. With their biggest concern was whether or not we were going to win this week, whether or not we were going to get better this week. And I try to tell these guys all the time, from years from now, you'll have reunions with the championship team. You guys will get together, you'll hang out, and it'll be fun. Okay, the little plaque you got for being all state, or meddling with your most valuable player trophy. I mean, that's cool, but you and the trophy are going to have a reunion. It's going to be a lonely reunion. You're going to make sure that you want to be around the people that gave you the opportunity that you shared something with, and I think that's probably the big thing that we got out of this year. Now, as we finish up, the last thing we do, as we do in all of our programs, is we bring the seniors up, and the Moms Club, who was one of my thank yous, and again, I want everybody that's involved in the Moms Club to appreciate the food, to appreciate what is about to happen, which is the posters and the senior jersey with your name on the back, and then those seniors will be able, we ask the seniors to put the jersey on. I know it's not for some, it's a little squeeze, but we ask them to do that, and then once they're finished, if anybody wants to come up, they'll all be lined up, we can get a quick picture, then we can also get
As Chip said, there's a table out there. It's got all the trophies that we won this year. You guys can grab a picture there. Be patient. Everybody will get a shot to get in there. I think it's worth it if you just take your time to get in there and grab that picture. Because sometimes I wish I would take more pictures. When stuff happens and we don't get a chance to. But take your time. Get some pictures. I understand it's been a long night, but I think it's been worth it. And I appreciate you guys' attention. So all together, let's get the seniors up. And hold on a second. Review it one more time. We started off with it 1-2. 2 years undefeated, 2 years playoffs. It's been a great run. It's been a great run for these guys. And the juniors are sitting back smirking and going, wait till next year, you'll see it run next year. And the sophomores are coming back saying, and we now got that mindset back. We were still rolling. We were still rolling. Now we get the mindset back there again. And these guys got the edge now, and they're ready to start rolling again. Am I right, Booker? Booker, am I right? Okay. All right, bring the seniors up. Here we go. Last shot, be sure we got it. I'm checking off everybody's list, be sure we got everybody. Give them a chance to get these shirts up. Parents, you guys can start mingling your way up if you like. And if we can just stand right along there, get a picture. Is Paul still here, by the way? That'd be nice if we could get a picture of that.
Yeah, you too. Right. Really? Awesome.